Parkway Garden projects to run down 63rd to 65th and King Drive, better known as O Block, has a rich history in the modern age of hip-hop culture, with its most notable rising star Chief Keef influencing the entire landscape of rap music as we know it today. Keef was the soundtrack that inspired some of today's biggest artists, including Lil Uzi Vert, Playboi Carti, and even Tekashi 6ix9ine admit he was influenced by Keef's movement, despite the trolling. Keef and his crew gave the nickname O Block to their hood to honor their fallen gang member, Odie Perry, who was murdered back in 2011. But the dark history of O Block goes back way further than you could probably ever imagine. But to really tell you about it, first we gotta talk about White City Amusement Park. It's amazing that you probably never heard of it, since at the time it was operating, it was said to be the largest amusement park of its kind, and also boasted having the longest water ride in the US at the time. It also introduced the world to the Goodyear blimp, which was first assembled at the park. But nevertheless, it seems like the media only ever mentions White City in Chicago referring to the World Fair. But after this video, you'll probably understand why. White City Amusement Park was built in 1905 on 63rd and South Park Avenue, which was later changed to King Drive. It was named White City because it had thousands of white lights and was said to be visible from at least 10 miles away. But as the name White City Amusement Park implies, black people were not allowed to come in this park for enjoyment, unless it was to partake in a racist game known as the African Dip, a game where white people would pay to throw apples and other things at the heads of black men in order to knock them down into a dirty pool of murky water that was laying below. From 1905 to 1908, Chicago was known as the city with the most amusement parks in the US, and White City Amusement Park contributed to that status. White City was one of the most successful parks in the city at the time. After many years of success, White City would eventually close in 1933 due to a string of fires that would create thousands of dollars in damages and the financial burden of the Great Depression. But one part of White City stayed open: White City Roller Rink. And if you couldn't guess, blacks were not allowed to skate at White City Roller Rink, so it became a place to see regular protests and brawls as black leaders fought for equal rights. Now pay close attention to the timeline for this next part. After over another decade of racism prevented black people from moving into the Grand Crossing neighborhood or even skating in White City, black leaders had enough. The Congress of Racial Equality sued the rink in 1946, saying it was in violation of Illinois civil rights laws. And in 1948, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled racial zoning laws unconstitutional, allowing blacks to move into Woodlawn and the Grand Crossing neighborhoods. But black people moving in would mean white people moving out in fear, taking all of the companies, and as a result, jobs and finances out of a community that at this point was over 90% black after the infamous white flight. Then, in the early 1950s, the Chicago Housing Authority started work on a new project with the promise of supplying comfortable, affordable living for black families looking for homes after the Second Great Migration. This project was a 35-building complex known as the Parkway Garden Projects, now known as O Block. These projects sit on the same land where White City Amusement Park once stood. How black leaders weren't outraged by them building public housing on top of a racist place like White City is something I never understand. Fast forward to the present day situation of Parkway Gardens, or O Block. The irony is our people out here killing each other to represent a hood that is literally built inside of a white city where games were played to disregard black people as nothing more than a form of white entertainment. Then look at you now. Every other day, some shooting on the news, or somebody got shot on Facebook Live and the white people still watching, entertained by a real life drama. Look on Google Maps and find Parkway Garden Projects. Zoom in a little bit. You might notice a marker toward the elementary school that reads White City Amusement Park. Who the hell added that? I mean, White City Amusement Park been closed since 1933. Well before Google Maps or any GPS was invented, so it seemed like somebody is fucking with us. Somebody is trying to cage you mentally. Because if you cannot see your oppression, then you embrace it. And then you become a guard of your prison set, never wanting to leave White City. I'm in no way one of those people who believe all white people are racist or that all black people are exempt from criticism. But I just believe in spreading knowledge, and that's what this is all about. Follow your boy Qua.Litti. Subscribe to the channel for more content.